Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool arcade game video for you this evening. Check this thing out. We got in this huge crane, one of the biggest ones they made. There is a slightly bigger one though. A Smart Industries clean sweep, big old 48-inch wide double bay crane. This thing screams late 80s, early 90s, so we were like, hey, we're trying to film like every crane ever made on our YouTube channel, so if you look, we've got a whole playlist of them. But we've never had this one in, so we figured we'd film a little video of it. This one's got a really interesting thing inside where they've added sound. So there was a optional sound add-on. I'll show you how they did that here in a minute to these smart cranes. So Smart Industries made all of these clean sweeps, and then they also made Bear Claw, and that may have been the only two they made, but these, they sold tons of these. They were kind of the biggest crane company that I'm aware of, at least. And I don't know if we've been trying to figure out if the operator removed all of the chase lights that go around. There's none in there. None of the stuff is in there, so it's almost like they weren't ever in there. If they did remove them, they did a really good job. There's no sockets for the bulbs or anything. So who knows, but it looks great without it, so what's it matter? And these, they had some that were double bays like this, and then they had some that were a double bay, like I think, so this is a 48-inch. It's actually slightly bigger than that. It's 40, almost 49, but just in case you are down to trying to make it fit somewhere. But they're about 49 inches wide, but they call it the 48-inch crane. So it's got two bays, and there's two complete setups. So there's two of everything: two power supplies, two game boards, and on this particular machine, two soundboards. And so it's basically two machines, completely separate. Of course, it's got two sets of claws, two carriages, two joysticks. But they made so many different variations. So they made the single ones, they made the little bit wider single ones, they made some that were, I don't know if they made this is a 48-inch, I don't know if they made a 48-inch single one, but they also made one a little bit bigger than this, where one side was like this, and then the other side was even wider, and so it was lopsided, like one side was bigger than the other side. And then they also made some with three bays, with three joysticks, three completely separate machines, all in one cabinet. We'll get one of those eventually, but so far we haven't had one. Of course, it's on casters, so it's easy to roll around. And so it's a 5th generation smart crane. So I don't even know how many generations there were, but let me show you what's going on inside of it. So there is, you can't really see it that well, and I can't really make it easier to see, but that's the typical Smart Industries crane board. You can always tell it because it's got all these relays along the bottom, and then it's got a big adjustment pot here where you can tighten or loosen the claw. But what this one has is it has this added soundboard over on this side. You can see the power supply there. So the soundboard, the way it worked was you spliced it in. So the game works without the soundboard, and almost all of the original clean sweeps didn't have sound. But they came out with this kit that you could buy optionally, and it comes with a harness. If you look really close, I don't know how well this will show up, but where the original harness plugs into the bottom of the board, there's a little Y adapter that plugs into it and plugs into the board, and what that does is it allows all the connections to go through like they were, but it also sends the same connections over to this soundboard. And then it has the same thing on the top. There's an extra, you can actually see it wide out right there, right? So there's the original harness, and it comes in and it connects to that, and it connects back to the board. So the connection's still going, but it also sends the signals over to the board. So the soundboard basically can tell when you coin it up, and when the motors move, and when the switches get hit, the up switch, the down switch on the carriage. So it can tell whenever the claw is all the way up. It can tell when the claw is all the way down and hits something. It can tell when it's left or right, and it can tell when it's forward or back. So since the soundboard gets those same signals, it makes sounds whenever it does that. So I'll show you. So like if we credit it up, and it plays a little music thing as it's moving, right? And this one actually also had the timer. So when you move, you get sound every time you do something. So it's really cool. They added that in, and so the game works. You can unplug the soundboard, and the game works fine without it. But it was just a little kit to make these a little more modern, I guess. I don't know when that would have first came out, but whichever operator had this machine, he bought it for both sides and added it in. It could have been that he bought the machine later on and bought that as an option from the factory, and it was already installed in there. I don't know. But really cool machine. Let me turn out the lights. You can see how it looks lit up without the chase lights. You can see they really dominate a game room, especially those big ones. Lights up the whole floor all around it. You can see how in like a movie theater that would really draw you over to it. And back in the day, you know, at the beach, they used to have these things just lined up, man. Just they used to have a ton of them in Walmart. I don't know if it was those. I don't remember if they were clean sweeps, but very common to see in the movie theaters back in the 90s. So there you go. I'll play this side just so you can see that it does the same thing. See if we can win a tooth here. Well, I might have got one. Now there's no prize sound because it doesn't have the sensor in it to tell you that something, it can't tell that you won, basically. That's pretty cool. It'd be good for a dentist office or something. Probably a little big, but so there you go. We just wanted to do a quick video of it. This is a 48-inch Smart Industries clean sweep crane with the sound boards on both sides. So cool. So give us a thumbs up for showing it off to you, and leave your comments below. We'll see you on the next video.